Honestly, guys, I just hope that there are people out there that understand from watching this episode that Trunks' mission from the beginning of the arc was a complete and utter failure. I mean, he could not save the future timeline at all. Like he failed pretty much. It's a bittersweet ending. I would say it's more of like a more it's more realistic, but at the same time it's kind of weird because it's like so everything that they fought for in terms of trying to preserve the lives of the people in the future timeline was essentially for fucking nothing. And the reason why I'm saying that the outcome is a little bit more realistic, at least to a certain extent, is because now, last week people were complaining hardcore about Trunks defeating Zamasu being an ass pull. But now you can't even complain about that because he really did not defeat Zamasu. Trunks did not defeat Zamasu. Zamasu, after he got split in half, turned into the world's worst desktop background screensaver, whatever you want to call it. I love this scene so much, by the way. Like, you have no fucking idea. Like, you would think that Mai, being the genius that she is, a Kamehameha can't touch like the screensaver Zamasu. Freaking Gallic gun can't touch it. Final Flash can't touch it. By the way, that was a really nice a threesome that we saw from Vegeta, Goku, and Trunks. But no, Mai is just adamant, completely stubborn about the fact that she's just gonna take her shotgun, unload a couple rounds, and everything's gonna be fine. I mean, obviously it was done in desperation. I just thought it was freaking ridiculous. So everybody from the future timeline, with the exception of Trunks and Mai, die. I wish I were joking. You cannot make this shit up. And then Goku summons, he uses the button to summon Zeno. Zeno comes in. This was literally like the definition of Deus Ex Machina. If you don't know what that is, I'll give you the definition right now. Read that. It's a storytelling device that a lot of people don't like. Zeno comes in, wipes out the entire fucking world because this is getting out of control. And the thing that's problematic about that is not that he shows up, because you did foreshadow that with the button. The thing that I have a problem with is like, wait, if he's the Omni King, meaning that he's all powerful, why is there more than one Zeno, even if it's a different timeline? I think if it's like we're talking about like the top tier dude. If there is such a thing as a top tier God, all right, it should be because he's the only one available. It just seemed a little bit too contrived for my taste, but at the same time, I also really did appreciate the fact that present timeline Zeno now has a friend in future timeline Zeno that he can play with. That's really good for future timeline Zeno because there was literally nothing left. Like, he was literally floating around in nothingness. And going back to the Deus Ex Machina thing, right? You literally have like gods intervening to fix everything. That's the core here. That's the main message of this final episode of this arc, right? Because not only does Zeno interfere with the fight, which basically means that all the work. I mean, obviously it means that Vegeta got stronger, thankfully. Goku got stronger, Trunks got stronger. So those are feats. I mean, that's like power scaling development for them. But at the same time, in this arc, that really didn't matter. It will matter in the long run, but as of right now, the results aren't there. And not only does Zeno interfere, but also Whis says, well, you know what? Given that everything is super fucked up, like, I'm just going to send Trunks and Mai to a point in time in that future timeline where Zamasu didn't go fucking crazy. I'm going to send you to a point in time before Black, before all that batshit crazy happened, so you can just, chill. And obviously you might run into yourselves because you're still alive, technically. You're still there, but you'll be at peace and you'll be with the people that you cared about saving that you were not able to save. So, but in doing that, that creates another timeline, another time ring. And Beerus is like, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. And then Whis tells them, well, you kind of already did it when you killed Zamasu, so if you get one, I get one. Let's try and work together. He's going to try and take care of Zamasu, or at least try to convince future timeline Beerus to take care of Zamasu, but not kill him, maybe seal him. Because Whis did mention that he had something better up his sleeve than the Mafuba technique that Goku was trying to use to seal Zamasu. So, he can't go into that future timeline and convince Beerus to kill Zamasu, because if that were to happen, that would create another fucking timeline. Holy crap, if you can keep up with all the fucking timelines. It's yeah, I mean, props. You know, my hat's off to you. Another thing too is that I mean the damage control is hardcore in this episode. There's so much damage control by these gods. And I like the quote from Beerus that's like, you literally have to stop depending on us so much. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what they end up doing. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever. So they fixed that up, and Trunks and Mai are going, using the time machine, the time capsule, whatever. They're going back, or not going, they're going forward into a point in time where Zamasu didn't go crazy. And we have like a lot of it's an emotional scene because of the music and because it's the farewells. I like how Mai and little Trunks or young Trunks see themselves as adults, and they're like, hey, this is kind of. I mean, I can see why we like each other. Like these are good looking people or whatever. I also liked the goodbye scene, especially when like everybody's like telling them, good luck, or Bulma even says, you might even have like you might be responsible for giving me grandchildren sooner than expected. So take care. And I love how it's Vegeta. Instead of saying anything zappy, instead of saying like a cliche goodbye, he throws a punch at Trunks to see if he can block it. And that's kind of like his way of showing affection. Gohan shows up by the end there, for dramatic purposes. And that's interesting because when he did show up, like even Trunks admits to the fact that he failed. He yells out with tears in his eyes, I could not save the world. So, it's a bittersweet ending, very bittersweet, because it's not a victory. It really is not a victory. There's some serious development going on, but it's not, it's like, oh, look, the heroes won the day. No, the heroes, as of right now, are incredibly dependent upon people that have a higher power than they do. In this case, it's the gods. I also really appreciated the reveal of the High Priest being Wiz's father, which I guess technically that would also make him the father of Vados, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. You could see the family resemblance in the design. Obviously, the High Priest is he's a lot more powerful than both Vados and Wiz. But it's cool. It was cool. It was like nice world building, which is very common for the ending episode of an arc. So I thought that was really nice. Overall, though, I guess my real question is like, what is your opinion on the arc as a whole? Because I really did notice that, especially by the end, like there are some great moments in this arc. Overall, I think it's a highly enjoyable arc. It's a good arc. But I do think that by the end, the writing, it kind of, there's like a downward slope that it started to go in. Like just because I like the arc overall doesn't mean I can't call out the bullshit. Human beings, we have a tendency to operate in binary terms, like black and white. Oh, if he's criticizing something, that means that he has to hate it or he doesn't like it. No, you can like something and still criticize it and point out the flaws and shit. So yeah, just keeping it real, keeping it 100. I mean, Zamasu by the end turned into the ultimate fucking butthurt troll. He was fucking like, just spamming that fucking horrible wallpaper throughout the entire universe. Nobody wants to see that. Zeno took care of that quick. Next week, it looks like we're going to have a pretty chill, down-to-earth type episode, which we need in order to recoup, in order for the story to start setting up the upcoming arc. So I'll appreciate that when it shows up. Overall, I think this final episode of the arc pretty much supports the fact that if you're ever writing a story and you wanna incorporate time traveling or time manipulation or just time jumping and shit, alternate timelines, you better know what the fuck you're doing. So maybe the whole timelines and just having the god characters mess around ended up complicating the story more than it needed to be. But that's just one take. Then again, this arc really did have some great moments, some very, very rewatchable great moments. The fights were hype. The animation on some of those scenes was on point. And, technically speaking, it's like, oh, well, the gods were the ones to solve anything. But part of the experience is having the heroes duke it out and struggle. That's the fun part. So it's more about the journey than it is about the final outcome. But, but the outcome does have to be, sort of evaluated from a writing standpoint. But overall, I thought it was a really good arc. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you did. And yeah, catch you guys later. Bye.